very warm welcome to all of you again. And thank you for joining us today for the fifth Web Talk series. I, Mr. Sarita Pradhan, Assistant Professor at ITTM Bhubaneswar, along with Dr. Das, is here to give you a bit more of inputs regarding the situation that is happening around us. So we have here Mrs. Pratyasha Das. She's an artist, cultural event organizer from Brandon, Florida, USA, and her topic is destination stay-at-home vacations and life in US in the COVID era. So now I would ask, in fact, request Dr. Adyasha Das to give a brief introduction of her, and then we'll start it off. Madam, over to you.
Thank you, madam. Very good afternoon to all of you present here. And am I audible? Can you hear
madam.
me?
Yes, everybody, I can hear you, so everybody can
And
hear you.
yeah, so it gives me immense pleasure to feature and invite Pratyasha Das, a student of IITTM Bhubaneswar, to be speaking to us today on a very relevant topic. But before I speak about the topic, let me speak a little bit about Pratyasha. We are in fact extremely proud of this alumni web talk series because it has given us an opportunity to reach out to the alumni who are successful today, not only in the defined career paths, but in a number of undefined career paths. When I talk about an undefined career path, a career path which leads from travel and tourism, but not necessarily to a ticketing or a tour operations or a cargo job, but to something like what Pratyasha does. So, with the experience of the IIT degree, where she was exposed to a number of papers on cultural management, etc., Pratyasha decided to become a cultural entrepreneur in the sense that she organizes cultural events. And I must tell you that she is one of the most celebrated singers of Orissa, and in fact of national and international standards, because that's what she's doing now. So it gives me a lot of pleasure to showcase such a talent in today's platform. She is right now settled in US, and I think she is just the right person to speak about the impact of COVID-19 in the US, because I think we know how tremendously the economy of US has been affected, how the lifestyle has changed, how destinations have been impacted. All over destinations are locked up today. So in these kinds of situations, what happens to the tourism scenario? And like a lot of tourism organizations are now starting these stay-at-home vacations, are we now thinking of something like that? So this is the backdrop, this is the background where I invite Pratyasha to share her reflections and her experiences. Basically, let it be very informal, Pratyasha. Tell us about your experiences, how you're coping there, and what you have to share with your juniors. Welcome once again.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure. I mean, hearing you after such a long time goes back to the same class of our IITTM, listening to the lectures of Sarita ma'am, Adyasha ma'am, who sends. I mean, it's nostalgic, I would say. First of all, hello and namaskar to everyone. A very good afternoon to all, and a very good morning to me. And I would like to congratulate all of you to be a part of this forum. And I feel this is one of the best thing as of now in this COVID era. And firstly, I would like to thank Adyasha ma'am for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this forum and enabling me to speak about the global pandemic which has changed the world forever. I hope by God's grace, each one of you and your family are in good health. I am Pratyasha Das, an alumni of IITTM Bhubaneswar. I'm currently residing in Brandon, a state in Florida. So today, the time that was awarded to me, I'm sharing my thoughts and views on COVID-19, the effects on my day-to-day life, Florida as a destination and how tourism has affected it, how our home has become the best retreat, and a general overview of life in US. So I'm currently staying with my husband. We moved to US after my marriage in 2017. We have spent almost a year in Edison, New Jersey. That was a beautiful place. Uh, and I feel I do have a lot of memories of to that place. And we moved to Florida 2 years back. And currently I'm living in Brandon, which is a city in a Hillsborough County. So in New Jersey, we had a close Indian community and made many friends throughout our stay. With a lot of apprehension, we moved to Florida, but to our surprise, we were greeted with open arms, warm welcome by the Indian community as well as the Americans staying in London. So as I compare it to India, the Indian society, I mean, the society itself is quite very small with very little socializing occasions for meetings and greetings. And though we, as one Indian community, irrespective of being in Oriya, being a Bengali, a Tamilian, or Marathi, trying to come together to celebrate each and every festival with our usual elegance and start mingling with everyone. So yes, life is quite different around here, and but now I'm kind of amazed to see the similarities in this turn of events, like COVID-19 outbreak. How do we survive this, and how are we moving along? And I'm sure this question might have haunted each one of us and left us with no answers for initially few days. Like many of you, I'm also trying to comprehend the new world that we find ourselves in, the world we knew in the year 2019 that has changed drastically in the wake of year 2020. I remember when we got the news about the COVID outbreak in China, the repercussions faced by the people in Wuhan, glued to our TV sets. We are just trying to grasp and analyze the impact it was having on China as a country and the mental dilemma of people living through the outbreak. With the days, the widespread impact on COVID 19 was felt throughout the world, which created panic, chaos among the masses, and crashing the world economy and bringing the world again on the grip of recession. I'm sure most of us had hardly 24 hours to prepare ourselves from this infectious disease, getting the food, the stock ready, preparing for the lockdown, getting hand sanitizer, which was a hell of a job, I would say, getting the disinfectants ready, which all of which luckily I had purchased before the lockdown, and the shelter at home was issued in Florida. And I remember going to the market because I had to collect few things for some of the elderly families to whom I'm very close to, to get things for them. I saw everything just in a day of span, in a span of day. Everything was over. There was no stock available for disinfectants and sanitizer. Even the food stock were not available properly. And with God's grace, I was able to, collect few more essential for some families and friends who were in need. Thankfully about that. So we have not stepped outside of our home. It's been past 2.5 months now, I would say. And similarly, many livelihoods and employment have taken a big impact to the service and the tourism industry in Florida. And people are furloughed and fired from their respective jobs throughout the United States. And many families are also facing challenges in US to make up a living, struggling to make their ends meet. I find a lot of posts when I go through on Facebook that they're requiring money to pay the rent, and over here some of the apartments, homes, or leasing office, especially for housing leasing office, They have, they're not charging rent for certain people who are not able to pay. They're not obliged to, I mean, they're not forcing any legal actions regarding them. So there are a lot of chaos. And as days go by, we understood that taking care of each other becomes the most important aspect of our lives. Like with our homestay restriction, new and innovative ways were implemented throughout the communities, as in the food and essential delivery service were adopted in full swing. We just, I mean, every commodity was just an app uh, away, I would say. I mean, we just have to knock on to all the goods and the community and the things that we want, and it will be delivered at our doorstep. And there's again a lot of work to it. We have to disinfect each and every things that we had ordered, making sure it's safe to consume. And I remember the online healthcare facilities were also available for 24 hours, on-call doctors who had diagnosed and prescribed medicines over the phone. I remember one of my incident. I have a lot of allergies issues, and especially in Brandon, in Florida, the pollen season is really very bad. I mean, people get really very affected, too affected with this pollen season. And I had allergies, and I suffered for a month without any medication. And I tried doing all the homemade remedies, but it didn't work because it's always there. I mean, whenever we go outside, look into the parking area, I find a green layer over each and every car. So it was that bad. So, I mean, I was so worried, and I got the number through contacting the on-call nurse over here. We have 24 hours, that facility. So I had to wait for 3 hours for the doctor to call me. I remember it was at the night, 1 o'clock. I got the, my slot was open. So I could speak to the doctor, and he gave me prescriptions for which I had to go the next day to collect the medicines, and I'm okay right now. So, and the Zoom, WhatsApp, Facebook online video conferencing enabled people to stay connected with each other. I mean, that is a blessing, I would say. And schools have been closed to start with virtual classes for students, and various companies even initiated work from home for non-essential workforce as well. So while different countries are trying to stem the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19, as one of the most alarming conclusion from this infectious disease is that there is no exit strategy. Like rules like following strong social distancing, rapid clinical care are suggested to reduce the advancement of this virus, bringing the infection and the death toll curve to a lower level and reducing the impact on the healthcare system. So we still are unaware how long these measures should last, whether relaxing them would allow the virus to undergo reawakening. So, with most of our routine life being restricted to stay at home, on the other hand, the healthcare professions work to exhaustion so that the sick gets the immediate relief. The researchers are also working hard in continuous shifts to find the much awaited cure. And now that the death toll of COVID-19 pandemic surges, the researchers are struggling to uncover as much as possible about the natural signs of the latest coronavirus named SARS-CoV-2. So the scientists believe that the virus has evolved an array of adaptation that makes it more lethal than the other coronavirus humanity has met so far. The genetic evidence suggests that the virus has been hiding out in the nature possibly for decades, which leads to many more questions. And reports of a number of people getting affected by this virus are rising like wildfire, wherein total confirmed cases as of yesterday in US was around 1.34 million, and the most devastating news of death toll rises to around 79,000 approximately as of today. So let me discuss, how Florida as a tourist destination has been affected and coping with the pandemic. So in order to start, I have to talk about Florida for sure. I mean, it's a beautiful state, and it's affectionately known as the Sunshine State, and for a very good reason. So on an average, Florida has 300 days of sunshine per year. So a lot of vitamin D. So which is the most important reason why Florida is home to a whopping 20 million people, and which makes it the third most populous state of America. Yeah. And people from all over the world, they travel to Florida for warm days, serene beaches, happy atmosphere. And on a lighter note, let me share a few interesting facts about this place as well. So the first one is Florida has most number of golf courses in any state of America, like with more than 1,300 golf courses, and there is never a shortage of this popular sport. There is a place called Palm Beach County, especially has more golfs than the entire country has. And I remember there are even indoor golf courses in case a person doesn't want to go to the field. I mean, the vast field to play the sport. You can also try there. I have tried and I enjoyed the sport thoroughly, and I think everyone should have an experience of it as well. I got a hand sprain, so it was wonderful. I find the sport very interesting. And the second most interesting fact is approximately 1,000 people move to Florida each day from different parts of the country. As I said, Florida is widely known for its hot weather, the sunny days, and very mild winter. That's why every day so many people pack their bags and relocate to sunny Florida. In fact, I have a few of my friends who used to live in New Jersey. They're settled here in America from quite a long time now. So usually in New Jersey, the winters are 8 months long. I mean, it's mostly snow covered, and temperature drops down to minus. And I mean, I like the climate over there. It's just that it's too wintry, and you are always bound to stay indoors. Not much of outdoor activities are available. So what happens over there? Some of the families, they tend to shift to Florida during that time, the winter period, and then again go back to New Jersey in the summertime. So I do have friends and families who come here and they enjoy the climate over here. So I find this, and I mean, there's a third most interesting fact of Florida is there are no dinosaur fossils. I mean, if you plan to dig for dinosaur bones, you won't have any luck in here, because during that age, Florida Peninsula was underwater and was totally non-existent as a landmass. But you would find a lot of prehistoric shark fossils spread throughout the beaches in Florida. I mean, that's one of my and my husband's hobby whenever we kind of visit the beaches in here. And it is the flattest state in America. Hands down, it's the flattest states for sure. I mean, there are not so many hills in here, and Florida's mean elevation is only 100 feet. I mean, the state highest natural point, that is the Britton Hill, is only 345 feet above the sea level. To compare, Britton Hill is the lowest high point out of any state in America. The fifth most interesting point is Florida's official state reptile is the alligator, which symbolizes the extensive untamed wilderness swamp land found throughout the state. No wonder I also find alligators swimming in the lake in front of my house. There are two baby ones. I mean, they're not big enough. If there are big, if we find the bigger, the adults, especially the animal control people will come and get them. So, and Florida is also home to many national parks. In fact, Greater Miami is the only metropolitan area in this county with two national parks. I remember the pristine Everglades National Park and Scan National Park. Those are beautiful national parks around here. And Florida produces the most oranges in America also, which accounts around 40% of world orange juice supply. So vitamin B, check, and vitamin C, check. So very essential for our bodies. So to sum it up, Florida is a state as one of the most visited destination in this country. But going with the report of tourist flow, COVID-19 is having a massive impact on tourism in here. As in, the Sunshine State has the sixth hardest hit in tourism industry across the US. And Florida is ranked number 4 for state dependency on tourism after Hawaii, Nevada, and Montana. So from Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and other attractions in a city named Orlando, to the beaches. Just a moment, please. Yeah. So from the Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and other attraction in Orlando, to the beaches in St. Petersburg, Clearwater, to the cruise line sailing out of Tampa and Miami, is a major industry for this state. Okay, and the other rankings for Florida include third in share of travel and tourism industry generated GDP, seventh in share of employment in travel and tourism related industry, fourth in default probability on loans for businesses and travel and tourism industry, first in travel and tourism consumer spending per capita, 20th in the share of consumer expenditure on travel. Industry, I guess there's some issues, not able to hear. Yeah. So the tourism industry across the country has been hard hit by coronavirus impact, and Florida continues to feel the effect of illness during what should be the state's most popular month for tourist revenue. And since I got this information over the net, since March 1st, 99% of hotel, vacation rental agencies, bed and breakfast have seen drops in bookings 30 days out, and 94% of them saw a decrease in booking 60 days out. So with the beaches, theme parks, and other recreational activities closed, so there is a steep fall in the graph in the revenue generated through tourism in this state. And a study also found that most tourism related business in Florida, about 97% experienced loss in revenue and profit due to coronavirus. A ray of hope was given by the governor of Florida, Mr. Ron DeSantis, who came up with a smart, safe, step-by-step strategy, which was on effect since May 4th, this month, May 4th, Monday, taking steps towards recovering from this coronavirus pandemic. As in the safer at home order that the governor put in place at the beginning of April was extended till May. And certain areas like Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, and Broward counties are excluded from the phase 1 for the time being due to their elevated number of cases. But he definitely gave a lot of assurance with loads of confidence that these counties would get the same point at the rest of the state very soon. So with the phase 1, I mean, they have started this drill to open certain areas in phase 1, and they will see for a couple of days and how it's going, and accordingly they'll go to the respective other phases as well. So in phase 1, approximately around 80 state parks and trail throughout Florida have reopened. And various measures have been taken by local business establishments to reopen the business across Florida. Restaurants can open dining with indoor sitting arrangements up to only 25% capacity outdoor. Outdoor sitting, which must be separated by at least 6 feet, and groups more than 10 people should not be seated at all. And service providing facilities like gym, fitness center, hair and nail salon, which are very important for girls and women out here, movie theater, will not reopen in phase 1 act, because social distancing recommendations are still in place, with everyone being asked to maximize their physical distance from others and avoid gatherings in large groups. Face masks are also recommended for people who are stepping out of their house for their needs and necessities, and some retailers are even providing them, which helps people who are not able to find face masks, and ultimately they're making an effort for everybody's safety. So I remember going to a shopping mall for getting some groceries for my place and for some other people. I find, going for online delivery, sometimes the lot that we get are not in best of their conditions. So with a lot of precautions, with mask on, with the gloves on, we go once in every month, I would say, to the grocery stores. And some people who didn't have masks, it was not a mandatory, it was a choice. They were asked whether you want the face mask or not, and everybody said yes, for sure. And that's a very nice gesture, I find, over here with the retailers opening up. And some of the beaches are also opened with strict rules and regulation consisting of social distancing, and are closed after sundown, with stringent surveillance by the police and the sheriff, making sure all the rules are obeyed. And I remember we were really we were really pissed off at sitting at home, and we wanted to go out. So we went for a long drive to the Clearwater Beach, which is around 1 hour from a drive from my place. The view is beautiful, and I find other people also share the same thought that we had. And I saw when the beaches were reopened, people literally were sitting it wasn't 6 feet, it was more than that. And they were enjoying their own time with less number of people. The groups were not more than 5. And the police and the sheriffs were always present. And once the sun sets, we were asked to, vacate that place as soon as possible. And there was a lot of traffic with that as well. So somehow things are getting better with everyone's cooperation from what it was a month ago, I would say. And hopefully we will come out of it soon with much better and a cleaner environment to live in. So, with the widespread difficulty like coronavirus pandemic grows, it becomes important for all of us to stay indoors and draw on to our inner strength. We as human beings have survived for 1,000 generations, helping one another, inspiring each other. So we know the drill of surviving thoroughly. So now, in this difficult time, instead of getting caught in collective fear and anxiety about the
Dudley, Zumra,
world's yeah,
Paisa maguche.
yeah. So now, in this difficult time, instead of getting caught in the collective fear and anxiety about the world events, we need to calmly remember to take a deep breath, center ourselves by taking practical precautions and protective measures so each one of us can contribute to the well being of ourselves, our communities, and the world. So, with the outbreak at its peak, there is a need for many of us to bound ourselves to stay at home, though difficult to socially distant ourselves from for the better of the community. We feel solace in embrace of the family. So it took some time and dedication to do this by choosing to engage ourselves to do more productive in garnering new activities like painting, reading books, socializing online, gardening, cooking new dishes and trying different cuisine. I remember I started painting few days back and I never knew that I could paint, but all the paintings that I have in my house on my walls, it's all done by both of us, me and my husband. So we are trying a different hobby altogether, and cooking. And one of the instances I may share it with you. Every day there is a question: what to cook today? What to eat? So we have these WhatsApp groups going on with families and friends, and there is a trend going on that whosoever is making a different dish, I mean any dish in fact, they are sharing the pictures. So I scroll down on the pictures and you know what are the ingredients available, and according to my mood, well, I can cook something. So I collect ideas and I collect the topics of my kitchen from that WhatsApp group. So staying with family and spending days together, although my family is in India, but me and my husband, we stayed together. I mean, this is the most of the time that we have stayed in together. In fact, because my husband, he used to go to office for his work, and the rest of the days is completely me engaging myself in my singing career, my online classes that I take. I give singing classes to people, and there are a lot of discussions about how to. We have a lot of cultural events all through the year, and how to organize that. So I'm always tied up. I'm never sitting idle, I would say. So it helped us emotionally and mentally support each other and apprehensions and anxiety, I would say. So life in US is not very different what it was in India, I would say. Yes, the location has changed. The climate, surrounding people, uh, it's little intimidating, but this feeling actually didn't last that long, I would say. The environment with less pollution, both noise and air, makes it a wonderful place to live in. And it didn't take much time for me to cope up with all these changes, I would say. And people in here are very cordial, they're respectful towards each other, and they have an open mind to each and everything. though it would be difficult to they were so welcoming that it didn't even feel that I'm not in my own country. Though it was little difficult to approach people here because we are culturally so different. But my observation went completely the opposite. They were so nice, they were so welcoming, I would say. So here we have a community called Floria, which was named long back when, well, I'm in Oria. It was named as Odia recently, as it was spoken as Oria, and that noted for all the Oria people residing all over Florida also, which is well known as OSA, that organizes convention and conferences each and every year in the different parts of US to accommodate around 1,000 to 3,000 people altogether. So last year I had the opportunity to participate and also be a part of the organizing team for the 50th convention of OSA, which was conducted by New Jersey and New York people in Atlanta. So every year, this responsibility is given to one of the state, and that one state coordinates with every other state, I mean, Odia people, to participate and to make the event successful. So this was my first ever OSA convention, and to my belief, the hotel where the convention was placed, it looked like a mini Odisha too, with strict rules to all by to talk in Odia and to have conversations only in Odia. So there were various competitions and were organized to people to participate simultaneously. Varied discussions about Odia literature, their poetry, cuisine, art and culture that made me travel back to the time spent in my motherland in Odisha. So there was this evening of 3 day. I mean, every evening this event for 3 days, and every evening was set for cultural programs, which started with Odissi, followed by singing shows, dramas, kids performances, and I remember there was a competition called Poda Pitha competition. That is one of the Odia delicacies, and there were 10 participants. I wasn't participating because I know I'm terrible in that. Although I'm learning right now things with God's grace and with my mom's help. And YouTube has been very helpful during this period of time. So there were no judge panels, there were only audience. So we had the opportunity, like me, my husband, my brother-in-law and his family, we had participated in that convention. So we had a ball. We tried each and every Podapitha, and of course there was a winner. But then I feel we were all the winners because we were eating such delicious food over there. So yeah, feels nostalgic remembering the times we spent there and having conversation with a lot of many people from different part of the country. And I also got the opportunity to perform a few songs from collections and the Hindi movies over there, and got a lot of, especially they encourage you so much, and it makes me go out of the box, and it was a wonderful. I mean, obviously with this coronavirus outbreak over here, there are many things that have been cancelled. uh, Homestay is very, very important for all of us for the virus to eradicate itself. So it's important for us to be responsible about it. And I feel there is a part of us who makes every effort to encourage and enhance the knowledge and the idea we procured over the years and portrayed to the outside world with a sense of pride. So this is what my experience living in US notes down to. and I'm sure I'm sure everyone would have enjoyed my my presentation so far. So this is what life in US looks like, and these are the information that I could collect so far. And if there's any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Yeah, Pratyasha, it was wonderful, so lucidly explained that I was thinking that I was in Florida, Florida itself, right? I enjoyed it so much. I feel even the students and other
You're
people.
too modest to say
Not
these
too
things.
modest, really. It was, I was, in fact. And I think Adyasha ma'am also would agree to that. She's there. Madam, I have unmuted you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very much there, and I think I should strongly recommend Pratyasha to take up, giving more lectures or at least think of teaching seriously. Because I think as students and listeners, we really enjoyed it. So I think you touched upon all the aspects from your perspective, how the pandemic has affected, and out of that, how you can look for future trends. So considering that, I think it was very interesting. I think now we can make it open for questions. If
Yeah,
anyone
yes.
else is,
Anybody interested can type it out here in the chat thing. I can maybe convey that.
Yeah.
Anybody having questions? Or you can even raise the hands. I can unmute you if anybody is interested.
I'm not able to see actually.
No, I can read it out. So I'm just waiting if somebody is. Let me see. Yes, guys, come on quickly. I think really they have really either you have mesmerized them or you have hypnotized them. They're not able to get out of it, right?
There's also another thing. I might have confused them all.
No, not
that is
confused.
also one of the things.
They must be
that's
in
not
Florida.
possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a question from
Yeah, I
Vaishnavi
think
here.
they
Yeah.
are in Florida.
Yeah. They
Yes,
are in
yeah.
Florida.
Okay.
But one has come back, I think. So it's Vaishnavi. She
Okay.
is asking that if we would make an itinerary for Florida, then how many days it would take to conquer the whole town?
I mean, Florida is a huge state. There are many places. You have to be sure of which part of Florida you want to come in. I mean, depends on if you want to go for the attractions. I'm sorry. Hello, Vaishnavi. I'm really sorry I didn't greet you. Hope all is well at your end. So, in order to go for, there are two things very important in Florida. Those are the natural beaches and the attractions. So you have to make an itinerary of two different itineraries covering all the attractions, like the Disney World, the Universal Studios. There is a Sea World, and I have been to all these places. Trust me, it's not only for one time visit. I had to go for that we say it's what we call an annual pass. We took the annual pass for Disney, for the Universal Studios, for SeaWorld, and every time I have a free. I mean, on weekends usually we are free, so we definitely go and visit to that place. So yeah, one itinerary for the attractions and one itinerary for visiting national parks and the beaches over here. So to act with your question, you should at least have a week's time in order to cover all these places thoroughly if you want to visit properly and get to know about that place much more information wise. Yeah.
Okay, I think she must have got the
I hope
answer.
that.
Yeah.
I hope
So next, anybody in? Anybody else having a question? Okay, we have one more. It's from Akanksha Mahapatra. She says, how is your local tourism board planning to recover from this pandemic?
Hello, Akanksha. The local tourism board is, as I said, the governor has come up with so many ideas in opening certain things phase-wise, and there are news that many of the attractions would open, but people, forget about the local tourism board. The people are being very apprehensive about stepping outside. Although I find very less number of people. I mean, when I went for the the long drive to the beach, there weren't many people. I know how the crowd is over there, how many people can accommodate. It's a huge beach, and there are there are parking facilities, and it can have n number of people in there. And I saw it was hardly 10 cars over there. So I know, even if the attraction would be open, people are scared to step outside. And in a way, I feel they're responsible enough, to think about the betterment of this whole world, the betterment of this virus getting spread. So, as of now, there are no data regarding the phase two getting in action. The phase one is definitely on. So, there are few beaches that are open with lots and lots of restrictions, and uh, and some of the beaches wherein there are certain fees that is collected. Not much. It's merely $5 for for parking and all. That is also being exempted because they want people to enjoy the places as of now, regarding irrespective of collecting revenue out of it. And other attractions like the Disney World that we spoke about, the Sea World, they will be remain closed. Only they will be only open if they match to the standards of social distancing, but it will be quite difficult. It will take a lot of effort, so they are still discussing about it. And as of now they haven't as of now they haven't come to any conclusions opening other attractions. So the local tourism is not at a good state, I would say, but definitely they are coming up with many ideas. I'm sure you can get the news over the Google. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
hope that answers your question, Akanksha.
yeah, that's, I think that's fine enough for her for the timing. Yes, anybody else? So I think we are done. All are exhausted. I think they had all the answers.
I think
They have
it was
got all
pretty
the
clear.
answers. Yeah. So it was very clear. So I think they don't have any doubts. That's why they are not asking. So
Right. We too had so many doubts when we were starting in IITTM. Although we didn't had that guts to question, but then it took a lot of time for us to open up. So,
this
any of
we
you
can
have any other
find. We can
questions?
see here one Mr. Neeraj. He's been saying you a very good afternoon, and he's thanking you for your valuable time and a very wonderful session. So that speaks, right? So nobody
So
has much.
he has given the thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yes.
Thank you.
So I think.
That means a lot. I was quite nervous also.
Yeah, anyway, I think we can then sum up now
Yeah.
so that Pratyasha can go back and get some sleep. I would I would definitely like to thank you, Pratyasha, because see, when you pass and go out and do something worthwhile on your own, knowingly unknowingly you also are starting a trend for your juniors. So this was
Of
something very
course.
interesting for them, to watch you speak and hold your ground and talk about things and talk about it in a positive manner. So I think you've done justice to the topic that was given to you, and
Thank you.
I'm extremely proud as a teacher that you have handled the session very well. So it shows that IITTM did something good to you when you were here for the
course.
2 years.
I would
And
say a few words about it, ma'am. Of course, I was a singer by profession and I'm still one. So beforehand, when I used to represent from where I belong to, I mean, I had been to many of what you say, the reality shows. I haven't gone through the rounds of gala rounds. That is what it's said.
yeah,
But I have represented, Odisha or Bhubaneswar in those forums. So, being a student of travel and tourism gave me the broader perspective about what my state is. I mean, I knew about certain things, but there are many aspects that I got to know later. There are, when I studied in for travel and tourism. Like, I'll give you a short example. When we are going to a place, we're just looking at how beautiful that place. But when we studied about it, we got to know that beautiful place consists of a hotel, consist of transportation, consist of attractions, consist of natural, scenes. So there are many things. So the perspective of a beautiful place was enlarged. So yes, and it helped me a lot to present it in a very different way that what I was doing earlier. And of course, in US also, I meet people who are not from Orissa. So I have to speak about my culture. I have to speak about the beautiful attractions that we have in our place. So this gives me a very it's a backbone, I would say, for me in order to represent my own state to different people. So yes, it has given a very good, of course, Atyasha ma'am, Sarita ma'am, Hussain sir, Lenka sir, they had taught us well and given us the experience that we are kind of leading it to a positive angle for sure.
that's really nice of you, Pratyasha, to speak these lovely words. And I'm glad that IIT team figures somewhere in your life. And
Definitely.
thank you very much for setting aside this time. I know we had a lot of problems deciding on the exact time slot, but at
Yes.
least you got up early for us, so you can catch your sleep. But
Ah,
thanks tremendously for being a part of the Alumni Web Talk series, and
thank,
wish you the very best for your future. Over to you, ma'am, now to
thank you.
sum it up.
So I would take this opportunity again to thank you, Pratyasha, because it was really wonderful looking at you and hearing you and lot many things. And also Dr. Adyasha Das, who has been there to support us in various ways. And all the beautiful students who have been there to support us for making the entire Web Talk series a success. And of course, Mr. Devrat, who is there for all our technical support and other things, issues. And now we'll be winding up. And Pratyasha, you could take a nap, bit
Yeah,
of
I must
rest.
say a big thank you
Thank you. A
to
big
Sarita ma'am for initiating
Yes,
these
for sure.
series of talks, and also to
Yes.
Deba for extending his cooperation.
Okay, ma'am. We'll all now wind up. Okay, thank you all. Goodbye.